What's happening everyone, my name is Alex and welcome back to a new review. Today we are checking out the latest and greatest from Samsung, the Samsung Galaxy S9 Plus. So every year I buy one phone, and this year I bought the Samsung Galaxy S9 Plus, and this is the phone that I'm gonna use throughout the year. Now unfortunately I was coming from a S8 Plus, and buying a S9 Plus didn't feel like an upgrade. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that the S9 Plus is not a nice phone, because it is, but when you come from an S8 Plus or even a Note 8, this isn't gonna feel like a brand new phone. And when you spend $1,000 on a phone, you're kind of expecting that, and I guess that's how iPhone users feel every year, because every iPhone looks just like the iPhone from the previous year. So this is exactly what happened with Samsung this year. So we get the same awesome looking 6.2 inches screen with the Quad HD resolution, and this is pretty much the same screen that we had on the S8 Plus last year, but that's not a bad thing because this is still one of the best looking screens on any mobile device. We get a somewhat smaller chin and forehead, but not very noticeable, mostly when comparing it to the S8 Plus, but this year we get dual speakers. We get one speaker at the top here and one speaker at the bottom. This is such an awesome improvement from the S8 Plus, and now you can actually hear everything whenever you're watching a video or anything like that. Now the speakers don't sound as good as the speakers that you would find on the Pixel 2 XL, but definitely an improvement over the Note 8 or the S8 Plus. So I'm very happy to see that we finally got dual speakers on the S9 Plus. Just above the screen we have an 8 megapixel front-facing camera, we have the iris scanner and a few other sensors, and this year we get a new feature called the intelligent scan. So this basically combines the iris scanning with the face recognition. Now unfortunately this feature doesn't work anywhere as good as we've seen on the iPhone X or the OnePlus 5T. So sometimes you have to hold the phone like this, sometimes you have to hold it like this, sometimes you have too much light hitting your face, sometimes you don't have enough light hitting your face. And that feature doesn't work that well, and I found myself not using it just because of that reason. So I'm kind of using the fingerprint scanner over that intelligent scan because it's not that intelligent. There is also a selfie focus mode available for the front-facing camera, and I took a couple of pictures with it, and the pictures look okay, but if I would be to compare the pictures that I take with the S9 Plus with the pictures that I took with the Pixel 2 XL, well, there is no comparison, and the Pixel is like years ahead for the picture quality for the front-facing camera. So a nice feature, but I wish it would work better. And we're moving on to the phone's frame. So the phone's frame is very similar to what we've had on the Samsung Galaxy S8 Plus last year, and on the left hand side you're also gonna find the Bixby button, and the Bixby button is just as useless as it used to be on the S8 Plus. So I used Bixby once, and the only reason why I used it was so I can actually turn it off, and now I can press this button as many times as I want and nothing will happen. I even turned off that Bixby voice, and now I can hold the button pressed for as long as I want and nothing will happen. And the only reason why I'm not using Bixby is because I don't find Bixby that much more useful than the Google Assistant. I can just use the Google Assistant with pretty much any device that I have, and it already knows what I'm about to ask or anything like that. So I just don't find Bixby that useful. And we are moving on to the back of the phone. So the back of the phone is made out of glass, just as it was last year, and of course it supports wireless charging. Now, me personally, I don't exactly use wireless charging that much, so I wouldn't really mind if we don't have the feature, but I understand that a lot of people prefer wireless charging over the cable charging, so definitely a good feature to have. Now, keeping that back clean, it's kind of impossible because every time you touch it, you're gonna leave a fingerprint, but that's pretty much normal for any phone that has a glass back. There is also a new heart rate monitor that supposedly can measure your blood pressure, but the phone doesn't actually come pre-installed with an app so you can measure your blood pressure. So you have to sideload an app unless you live in the US. I guess the app is available in the US in the Google Play Store, but it's not available in Canada. I did install the app, but it's more of a research app than anything else. So realistically you can't really do anything with that sensor for now. I'm imagining that in a few months there will be some more apps that will take advantage of that sensor, but as of now, well, it's kind of useless. And we're moving on to the biggest change for the Samsung Galaxy S9 Plus, and that is the fingerprint scanner. So the fingerprint scanner, it's kind of placed in the right spot now, and I'm saying kind of because it's very close to the camera. So every time I try touching the fingerprint scanner, I actually touch the cameras. The fingerprint scanner is also a bit quicker, mostly when compared to the fingerprint scanner that we had on the S8 Plus. Now, it's not as quick as the one that we have on the OnePlus 5T, but it's kind of an upgrade over the S8 Plus. And I'm saying kind of an upgrade because this is still a $1,000 phone and I was expecting a bit better. If you use a case with a phone, you're gonna find it much easier to actually find that fingerprint scanner, and I think I have about 20 cases for the S9 Plus, but I only found two that I like. One of them it's made by 2D and the other one it's made by Rinky, and I'm gonna leave links in the video description for both cases just in case you wanna check them out. Next we have what they call the reimagined camera, and they're talking about the main camera on the back of this phone. But I don't exactly find this camera reimagined. Sure, this camera has variable aperture and you can change the aperture in between f1.5 and f2.4, but I don't find this to make such a big difference in real life. So having the f1.5 aperture means that more light can hit the sensor, and that's good if you're taking pictures in low light conditions. Next I want to show you some pictures that I took with the S9 Plus in low light, and the same pictures that I took with the Pixel 2 XL and the same pictures that I took with the Samsung Galaxy S8 Plus. So the pictures taken with the S9 Plus are just a tiny bit sharper and they maybe have a bit more detail, but depending who you ask, some people are actually gonna prefer the pictures taken with the Pixel 2 XL. So what I'm saying is, even though they call this the camera reimagined, the results that you're going to take with this camera are not far off from the results that you're going to take with other flagships from 2017 or 2018. What's not a marketing gimmick, it's the second lens on the back of this phone, and I actually find the second lens on the back of this phone very useful. So with that lens you can do 2x optical zoom, and I find myself using that lens more and more every single time. So that's definitely not a marketing gimmick, and the pictures that you're gonna take with the 2x optical zoom look extremely good as well. So don't get me wrong, the cameras on the back of the Samsung Galaxy S9 Plus are great cameras and one of the best cameras available on any mobile device, but so is the camera on the back of the Pixel 2 XL, the Samsung Galaxy S8 Plus, the Note 8 and so much more. So the cameras are great, but they're not reimagined as they said. Moving on to another thing that wasn't exactly upgraded for the S9 Plus, and that is the 3500 mAh battery inside. So we have the exact same size that we had on the Samsung Galaxy S8 Plus. Now, unfortunately, I find that the battery life on the S9 Plus, it's not as good as it used to be on the S8 Plus. So you're kind of gonna make it through an entire day and get about 4 to 5 hours of screen on time. And 4 to 5 hours of screen on time is not that much. I kind of have to charge the phone every day around 7 to 8 p.m. because the phone just doesn't make it through an entire day. So I wish I would have seen a bigger battery or better battery life, because as it is, it's not that great. And we are moving on to specifications. So this year we get a Snapdragon 845, we get 6 gigs of RAM and the same 64 gigs of internal storage. Now the 6 gigs of RAM that we got for the S9 Plus makes a huge difference, mostly when compared to the S8 Plus. So this time around you can keep a whole bunch of apps running in the background and the phone doesn't seem to close those apps running in the background. Something that was happening quite often with the S8 Plus. So definitely an awesome upgrade to get 6 gigs of RAM versus the 4 gigs of RAM that we had last year. Another noticeable upgrade from the S8 Plus would be this phone's performance and fluidity, and I have to say this phone is extremely fast, mostly when compared to the Samsung Galaxy S8 Plus. Now the S8 Plus was never a slow phone, but this one is so much better. Opening apps, closing apps, switching in between apps, and the fluidity on this phone is kind of similar to the fluidity that we get on the Google Pixel 2 XL, and that's not something that I could have said for the Samsung Galaxy S8 Plus. So to conclude this video, the S9 Plus is definitely the best phone that Samsung has ever made, and if you're not coming from an S8 Plus or a Note 8, this is gonna be an awesome phone. It's very fast, the cameras are great, and the screen is the best that you can get for any mobile phone. Now, if you're coming from an S8 Plus or a Note 8, this isn't gonna be an upgrade. I mean, it's not gonna be an upgrade that's worth spending $1,000 for it. Of course, we have dual speakers with this phone. We didn't have dual speakers for the other phones, and the phone is somewhat faster as well, and it has better cameras. But this isn't an upgrade from the S8 Plus or the Note 8. Alright guys, hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did like it, press that like button. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.